Hello friend and welcome back to Betta Days. Today we're going to be talking about why your Betta keeps getting sick. Bit of a disclaimer, this does not happen often and really it shouldn't. Bettas are very hardy fish. They can withstand a lot of stress as shown by the amount of time they are able to live in those little pet store cups. I mean, most fish at that point would, I'm sure, have died much sooner. But sometimes I do have some people tell me, look, I'm thinking about getting out of this hobby. I'm thinking about just quitting because every time I buy a Betta, they die and I don't know what I'm doing wrong and I just feel so frustrated and I don't want to keep spending money, blah, blah, blah. There have been a few instances of this, although it is more rare. So if you are thinking about getting into the hobby and for whatever reason you're watching this, don't worry, this is pretty rare. But if you're one of those people who are wondering, why does my Betta keep getting sick, then this video is for you, and I hope that one of these points that I will cover is the reason so that you're able to eliminate it, enabling your Betta to have a wonderful, vibrant, and happy life. The water is not kept clean. Honestly, when you think about the grand scheme of things, Bettas don't require a whole lot. It's very easy to provide them with a beautiful, clean tank with a couple plants, a heater, but the most crucial thing is clean water. Clean water is everything for a fish, especially a Betta. If you think about why the Bettas in pet stores are sick so often, it's because they're kept in this tiny cup, their water is not changed, and it just gets gross and disgusting, and I don't even want to think about it, but that is one of the big reasons why pet store Bettas struggle so much, is because they live in the same water for weeks and weeks on end. Now, some will get lucky and have their water changed out, but I cannot tell you how many times I've had somebody go to a pet store and send me a picture of the water parameters in the cup. Like, they will actually take a test strip and dip it in, or they'll dip it into one that they bring home before they change out the water, and the levels are insane. The ammonia is through the roof, the nitrites are through the roof, both things that you do not want to have in your water. So what should you do? First and foremost, make sure your water always stays clean. It's good to have a test kit and to test it once a week. I change my water. I have 10 and 5 gallons. I will change about 50% of it every week or every other week. I find that that is ideal for me. But it can also depend how many fish you have in the tank, because the more fish you have in the tank, maybe you have some tank mates, the faster the waste will build up. So if it's just a tank in your Betta and it's a larger tank, you won't have to worry about changing it every day. You just don't want to let it go weeks and months on end without changing it, because that is just not good and that can really affect your Betta's health. If you don't have a test kit, I highly recommend investing in it and testing your water once a week to make sure that levels are good. But even if the test kit is saying that your water levels are good, every week or every other week, it's still just fine to change about 50% of the water in the tank. It also helps you to remove debris, kind of scrape down and get rid of algae off of the glass and remove any poop that's just kind of in the substrate. Reason number 2, you don't have a heater. Some people may just not know, but Bettas are tropical fish. They love 75 to 80 degree Fahrenheit temperatures. They love it. They will actually get stressed if they're in cooler water, as shown by someone I recently talked to who told me that as soon as she took her Betta in a cup, one she had just bought from the store, and put him in the dashboard of her car that was heated, the stress stripes immediately went away and her Betta started coloring up, and all she did was put him in a car that was heated. That's all she did. So heat is really important for Bettas. If you don't have a heater, you should really get one. If your Betta is in cold temperatures, it can lead to shock and stress, which will then weaken the immune system and leave your Betta vulnerable to a lot of diseases, which I know you do not want. Reason number 3, there is a source of stress in the tank. Just like I mentioned with being in cold water, if there's anything that's stressing your Betta and it's always in the tank and it's always in his environment, then that stress is going to lower his immune system, making him vulnerable to illness. There are a few different things you can check to make sure your Betta isn't being stressed out. Number 1, make sure he's not glass surfing and make sure that he cannot see another Betta outside his tank, and that he's also not constantly seeing his reflection in the glass. I've never really struggled with that a lot, but there are some people, and depending on the lighting and the angle of the tank light, they have noticed that their Betta was glass surfing because he was seeing his reflection and that was really stressing him out, so make sure that's not happening. Secondly, I highly recommend leaving any kind of floating mirror or betta buddies or anything in the tank that resembles a betta fish. If your betta sees that, he's going to think of it as a constant intruder, and it's just not going to be pretty. He's going to be stressed, and you definitely don't want that. And the last reason your betta may be getting sick a lot is just the fact that there could be some dangerous decor in there. Typically, if you have a natural tank and you have some rocks, some wood, live plants, this isn't going to be an issue. But for a lot of people that want the bright, colorful, or themed pieces inside the tank, a lot of those will come with rough edges, with sharp edges, with little pieces here and there that can catch your betta spins, that can rip them. And ripped fins, just like a cut on your arm or hand, if not taken proper care of, can result in infection and also fin rot. So to ensure that there is no rough decor in your tank that can harm your betta, just do a quick visual look over and see if you can see anything that might potentially be dangerous to your betta. And if you're just setting up the tank and you don't have a betta yet, just run your fingers over everything, over the driftwood, all of that. I do the same thing, and any sharp edges I feel, I just sand them right down. Now we're going to cover a bonus point, a bonus tip, something I just now thought of. Make sure that you are not introducing contaminants in any way into the betta's water. This is really important. Sometimes you might have a hair product on your hand. Maybe you just finished applying lotion to your hand and you have lotion, or maybe you were outside doing something and you might have pesticides, or if you were working in your garden. I mean, you get the idea. If you have something on your hands or you were doing something recently where there may still be residue, then wash your hands very thoroughly before you put it in the tank water if you were scaping or changing the water or needing to do something like that. Another way to keep contaminants from getting into the water is to make sure that if you have pets, they're not going anywhere near the tank water. They're not drinking from it. They're not bathing in it. I mean, I've seen some people allow their birds to splash around in the top of and then some people let their cats drink from it. No, it's not a good idea. Don't do that. If you have cats, you may just want to get a lid for your tank, and you may not want to do lidless like I do with mine. But for me, it's not an issue. I have a couple dogs, and they always leave my tanks alone. So there are the top tips as to why your betta may be getting sick a lot. I hope that one of these was the issue and that you were able to identify it and solve it and lead your betta to the road of recovery and lasting health. If you have any more questions, suggestions, or maybe you wanted to add your own opinion, go ahead and stick that in the comments. I always love to see that. If this is your first time here, consider sticking around, especially if you are new to the betta fish keeping community. This channel is almost 2 years old and it is full of so much helpful information. It's all free. All you have to do is hit subscribe and go check out the rest of the videos. With that said, friend, I will let you get back to enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless, and I will see you soon.